Really nice. It's something cutting edge technology, I would say.
I like it. Very comfortable. I just want to run the whole day.
Okay. All right, stand up. How do you feel?
Big difference, bro. Huge difference.
Coming from my normal everyday wear shoes, it's like actually comfortable. Whoa!
Oh, that's
Wait,
fine.
it's weird. Oh wow, that's such a different feeling.
I started developing the concept of the shoes after this doctoral study where I noticed there were three major types of landing: heel landing, flat foot landing, and front foot landing. While I was developing the shoes in 1994, at the same time I was studying the functional anatomy of the foot. Like if you land with your heel, which muscle in your body controls the shock? If you land flat foot, which muscle in your body controls the shock? If you land front foot, which muscle in your body controls the shock? Guess what? Heel landing was just terrible because no muscle in the body controls the reaction forces. And according to the third law of Newton, each time you create an action, you have a reaction back in your body. So I say, how am I going to make a shoe that can help people to land with the front foot without worrying, without even thinking of it? Because that's the best landing. I say, you know what, you better make the shoes without heel. So that when you put the shoes on, there is no way to contact the ground with the heel. And you're going to be forced to use your body mechanic the way it should. That's why I developed the Heelless athletic shoe. I wanted to know the structure of the foot. So after doing the gross anatomy of the foot, it was not enough. I did the advanced anatomy by dissecting a human foot from the skin to the bones. So when I reached the bones of the foot, just like this foot here, started at the plantar surface of the foot, I noticed the foot has many transverse arches as compared to one transverse or two transverse arch, 7 transverse arch of the foot. And longitudinally, you have, if you look at the foot like that, the medial longitudinal arch, the lateral longitudinal arch, and the intermediate longitudinal arches. So what is the job of these arches at the foot? In fact, this arch helps to control the body weight. Imagine someone who is weighing 300 pounds, and those tiny feet can still handle the person, and the person is walking around. You never wonder why these feet can do that? Because of these arches. When you land with the ball of the feet, now your arches go into action to start controlling those reaction forces.
With any shoe, a lot of people like comfort. Everyone wants comfort, if I'm not mistaken. And with comfort, you also want, a little bit of sense of fashion. And so I kind of took both and incorporated it. I wanted to create a shoe that is light. And the biggest reason why this shoe is light is because, number one, the heel is removed. And a big part of the shoes that carry a lot of the weight is typically on the heel. This also allows you to have a lot of performance on the shoe. Most shoes, especially for avid runners, a lot of times they put maximum 200 to 300 miles on their shoe. And what they'll notice is after a while, the heel starts to deteriorate. So now with the Heelless technology runners, or the Heelless athletic shoe, you can actually get a little bit more performance with it because, number one, there's no heel.
The health benefit of having the Heelless athletic shoe, first, you do not land with your heel. So you have a great use of the shape of the foot to control the reaction forces. Secondly, your landing phase is shorter because there is no heel. So in terms of health and performance, there's going to be a significant improvement.
We had the concept for quite a bit of a while, and I told my dad, I said, Dad, it's time that we finally bring the shoe onto market. So my dad told me, he says, do the research, find out who can do the shoe. So I started doing some research. We first developed the concept, which was a 3D rendering of the shoe here. And we saw that it was ridiculously expensive to do it here. So I did some research and found a company out in China told my dad, we need to go and do the prototype in China. So we discussed it as a family. We all sat together, and I was able to get all the paperwork that I needed, invitation letter from the company that I found, and I ended up in China. I was in Xinjiang. That's where I was. So when I first got there, I had no clue. Practically all I knew was I needed to go to a company and have them develop a shoe. I had no idea where I was going, did not know the language. I was definitely culturally shocked with everything that went on. But I knew that I had to go and achieve something.
Coming from Cameroon with 4 children and my wife, and being a graduate student, that was quite a challenge. I remember my first advisor told me, forget about your wife and children, you can't do that. I said, how can I live here without my wife and my children? I cannot. They say, okay, go ahead, do whatever you want. So when my family came and I was a student, and I finished the study, then the idea of the shoes came. I had to make money to raise my kids, or make money to produce the shoes. And as Olgi has mentioned, I had to raise my kids first. That was my utmost priority. And then when my kids grew up and started making their own living, now together we decided to get the shoes out. That's why it took so long.
When I first did the first model of the shoe, I sent it over to you. We had did the first model of the shoe design. My dad looked at it and said, "This ain't it." I said, "Oh." I said, "This ain't the shoe." He said, "No, this is not the shoe."
Yeah.
So at that point in time, I said to myself, I have 2 choices. I can stay, or I can come back. And that's where everything started getting real, because I said I have to stay. And the micromanaging, I mean, it got rough because I had to sleep at the factory, which was very difficult for me because the conditions, the living conditions, it was rough. And we went through a typhoon. I was sick during that time, and then I had to get a root canal. So it was a lot of things that happened to me that made it so much more difficult. But then knowing that I had to do it, that's why I say motivation is the most addictive drug, because that's what kept me pushing and pushing and pushing. The day of the gala is when I arrived back to the United States, and I did not even see the shoe. I received the shoe at 3:30 in the morning, and I had to catch my flight at 6:30. And the drive from Xinjiang to Xiamen is about an hour and a half. And when I got there, I just had enough time just to throw all the shoes in the suitcase and the carry-on. Even my laptop went underneath because the shoes were priority. And when I finally came to the house, my dad and my mom picked me up, and we finally got home. I opened up the shoes. It was the gray colors. I remember it like it was yesterday. I gave him the grays. I didn't even know. I didn't have the chance to put on the shoes. I didn't even know how they were going to feel, how they were going to react. And my dad took the shoe and he put him on. And he said, "This is it."
Yeah. So this is it.
He said, "This is it." And I tell you, that was the most satisfying sound that you can ever hear, because when you put so much more into the sacrifice and to ensure that you do exactly what he wanted for not just us, but for all of us and for everyone else, yeah, that was a pinnacle moment.
Yeah, this is the shoes. Seriously speaking, I'm completely satisfied. This is it. Any human being who can stand, who can walk, who can run, can wear the shoes. It's not just for super athletes. By the way, all human beings are athletes in their own nature, at their own level.
Everybody needs to know about this. Our biggest challenge right now is literally marketing the shoes. We need to get the exposure of the shoes. Those that invest or donate, rather, you become priority. So anytime anything new is happening with the company, you're the first person to know about. Any deals that we have going on, you're the first person to know about. So it's kind of like flying first class in a plane. You get the treatment, you get everything first. And so we can get it out there and expose a brand new technology that is going to help people. It's going to maximize their performance, it's going to minimize their injuries, and it's going to sustain comfortability all in one shoe. So we just need to now inform the world that the difference is here. Eat to move, move to be healthy.